Nice. Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's doing good. Staying away from this choppy market. Not much going on. I'll go over a trade that I ended up having on BWV. Let me just scroll through, see what's going on here. Late day, so I could try to, come up with something for a Friday power hour move. Yeah, but here, actually, just let me get into this. It's a decent little move. Just the first green day, kind of like a reversal here, similar to a bounce play, but this thing only ran 100%. We had a weak bounce here, 738. Yeah, nothing significant here. Reminding me of BWV. So, and same with what do you call it? What was spike today? What was it? This one. In a couple days, this might be a multi-day bounce, but it only ran like 110% or something like that. If I'm not mistaken, let me double check. Let me do the math right. I saw that somewhere. I just want to make sure. 4.5 minus the close was, call it 198. 130% or so. If I'm getting that right. Actually might look for it for a multi-day bounce. 1 second. Let me get on my laptop here. It's much more clear for me. So in the meantime, let me actually go over BWV. 1 second. Is this thing moving again? Slower mover, kinda. Yeah, never mind. Slow mover. Okay, so we got BWV. Let's get into that. This was a trade for me today that put me green. So I'll go over my SIDU trade earlier in case anyone in chat here on the live missed it. So I had a $36 loss on SIDU this morning. Foolish trade, should have never taken it in hindsight, and we'll go over that. But here, if you remember here, so we got this perk here that made me really eye this thing for a multi-day bounce. It was looking like it was failing to break down. We had a recent run on it. Didn't run that much. It was just about 100% or so. But the backside came in. We're roughly 50% off the highs. It's holding the mid threes quite nicely. And from there, it kept holding the 369 previous close, so it held red-green quite nicely. Came back here, made a high-low, held the 374 open price play, or the open price rather. So I started getting in here for some starters, and then it started perking up, some volume started coming back, so I'm like, oh, this thing might actually start making a move. So once we started perking up close to the day high, I started adding some more, got my average to 388, and then from there, instantly put up order at 430 because the average was 388. If I take 40 cents, that's gonna be just about 10%. And I think I could get myself a couple extra cents if I'm selling at 428. I can get to 430, I think, and it just topped out at 434. So lucky me having my limit order just sitting there beforehand, and it started perking here. I instantly smacked it. Few minutes later, it does exactly what I want. On 800 shares, $336 covers my loss from earlier of $36, and now I'm up $300 on the day. So just taking the quick snipe, not trying to be greedy, because also remembering that this isn't setting up ideally. I really like the 150% at least spike on the front side. This one only had about 100. So that's why I was a little more speculative about it. And even in the watch list, if you go on Twitter here, let me pull it up. See, I do would have spiked more for a multi-day bounce, but we will see how it works out for play. That spiked 120%, looking for a quick 10 to 15% as usual. So that's pretty much it. I was really speculative about it, just looking for that quick 10%, not even 15% really, because I wanted to be in and out. I saw how this was acting early. The volume wasn't totally there, and if we're gonna be going parabolic and start exhausting the volume, that's a signal start getting out, as it might be a top short term or long term. But in a play like this where it's fueled by short covering to lock in profits, once volume starts getting exhausted and it wants to reverse, there really shouldn't be much fuel left. It should really just tank. And we saw that with CYN yesterday with this pattern. You got the weak continuation, and you saw volume was not that great, got a little exhausted, and from there it was just fade, fade, fade. So it's really important in this one to compare them too. This one spiked over 150% on the front side, and we got a solid move that held up nicely. And if you compare that to BWV, where it had a weaker bounce and hard time really holding up, not really getting to that 25-30% that I usually expect out of these plays, it makes me hesitate for SIDU. But if this thing's, I just need to see what the close is at. That's really all I need to see. Because if it spiked 125% or so, I might give it a shot. I might try to see what it does. So let me just take a look here. Get my calculator. So today's high 4.5, and then previous close we got 197, so I was off by a penny. Oops, got that wrong. 128. I might as well look at it. It's pretty close to 150% minimum that I look for on these plays. So after a red day, I know it's Friday, so Monday ideally we get a continuation lower, and then come around Tuesday we'll be ready to start looking at it for a multi-day bounce. It's key that we get at least a solid red day, not necessarily solid, but at least a red day that's not based off the open price. Here you see this one was red, but it's only because it's below the open price. It's still above the 197 previous close, so it's still technically green. You can see here up 60%. So waiting for that bigger fade. Shorts are for sure in control. You get a affirmative red day. Then from there, just start looking for that bottoming, like CYN, how we did yesterday, for that high day break, and you get the squeeze. But yeah. So yeah, I guess I'll look at this for a multi-day bounce next week. But right now, let me take a look at my scanners, see what's going on now. BBIG, we'll take a look at that. SMLA, we'll see what that's doing. I just saw that here. Not spectacular. For breakout, that's going to be over red candle. I really need to see a lot more volume than this. A solid push here to 4, but I've gone over in a few video lessons before. That breakout over a red candle with some strong volume, it's going to be hard to break out, because the shorts are looking at this as an area of conviction. You got all this heavy selling that's going to have to get filtered through by buyers to really scare everyone out to get that solid squeeze, or else people are looking at that area, because right above you got that 410 area as well. Low fours here are going to be a key area of resistance, so you can't come up and try to break out on weak volume like this. And if it does, I don't even care. I'd be totally ignoring it, because I'd be seeing it as a weak move, and I want nothing to do with that. So definitely be very cautious of plays like that. As you can see here, got stuffed right away when you got the perk. It is still holding up, but no volume. It's just going sideways. So I'd probably ignore this thing. personally. That's what I'm gonna be doing. That's the float. It is a low float. Volume's not bad, I guess, compared to the float, but it's just not enough to go through all of that. How many shares was this? Yeah, close to 60 million. Not gonna do it this week. 1 or 2 million. There's gonna be people coming in, and if take a look at the 5-minute or the 5-day rather. Get an idea of this thing here. Huge pre-market runner ends up failing. I remember actually taking a small loss on this now that I think about it. So it's coming up to this key 410 area. Quick break of it, just barely, not even could close above that price. So pretty weak, still holding below it. A lot of resistance leading up to the mid 4s with all this volume. As you can see, there's just no fuel behind this push. So without that, there's no point in really even giving it the attention, in my opinion, as I think shorts will either take over, or if it does move, it's going to be a very suspect move. Just because, I was reading in this book right now about volume. I actually like it a lot. Let me recommend it here. The Trader's Book of Volume, the Definitive Guide to Volume Trading. Right here, by Mark Leibovit. So definitely recommend this book. And I always talk about volume kind of being the energy behind the play. Another analogy really here is fuel to a car. If you see that your fuel tank is pretty low, you shouldn't be expecting to go that far. And that's exactly the case that I'm seeing here, especially with the overhead resistance. A lot of selling here. Some bag holders are probably going to be weighing it down as well. It's going to need a lot more volume to filter through all that and scare a bunch of short sellers out. There's that. Is anybody looking at anything? Because I don't have anything on my scanners that is appealing at all. I don't know what's up with my scanners, but I've been getting a lot of low price plays moving this week. It's HGEN? What's this actually? Just seeing that now. Bring it up and look at it together. HGEN. Nasty overall chart. Every single pop gets sold into. Yeah, definitely. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna just send the link from Amazon to make it easier. If you want to just click on that. Traders book. Hey, Pin. How's it going?
Not too much. How you doing?
Doing good. Just here doing a live stream.
Oh,
So there you go. There's a link for the book. Definitely recommend it. Some key nuggets of information in there. So give that a look for sure, as volume is very important to be reading these charts. And here, what do we got? A lot of consistent volume leading up. So a bunch of overhead resistance really going on here. Definitely a solid perk here. Let's look at it intraday. Combine that with the overall markets. What's that doing? Just getting back to day lows. Not fantastic. Not loving the price action. It is holding. I do like the trend. I will say that. But the daily chart is really just scaring me away. Especially with, what's the float? 56 million. It's only doing 4 million in volume. I just don't see the supply and demand, tipping the scale in the demand favor here to get the burst that we need. Oops, that moved. Sky H. So if you guys got any questions, throw them out there. More than happy to answer anything. Go over a ticker if you need. But right now it's looking like a slow ending to the week. We got the markets crashing, and that's probably weighing things down right now. Market hasn't been doing too good recently, but we've been still getting some solid opportunities. Today seems like the first day where there's really a sense of panic in the market. So we'll see how we have to adapt to that, how it's going to affect the overall plays that we look at, how much they run, and whatnot. Because we hear 3 out of 4 stocks follow the market, so definitely got to keep that into consideration. The market is tanking. And here comes the monster dog, Jax.
Jack, hey, let's get the leash off.
But yeah, BBIG, in my opinion, might be one of the best plays holding up, but it's fading now. Wasn't a huge fan of this to begin with. We got the huge fade off of the highs here. Thought if we could keep going sideways, we could get the ramp up to test 4. But, it's a slow mover, huge flow, 180 million. So, I'm going to need a lot of volume. Thought maybe late day, after filtering through, sucking in shorts, getting the volume that we need, we could get the move that we want. We still have 45 minutes or so. Could maybe make something, but definitely not looking that great right now. Setting a solid, if you draw it, resistance in the 340s here, and looking like it's going to crack VWAP and head lower. Volume is fading, so this one's not looking too great either. Let's see here. Yeah, this one's still not doing anything. That's gonna be breaking kilos. I'm so lucky for getting this little play. If it wasn't for that, I would be finishing the week red. Not that great. So it looks like there's not gonna be anything. I'm gonna be finishing the week 55% win rate. Not that bad. Still made about $1,300. Can't complain about that. Just taking quick snipes here and there, letting them add up. Taking small losses. There was one day where I let a loss get out of hand, but was fortunate enough to end up getting a solid play, sizing up decently, and making a solid profit on that day too. So every single day this week has been green so far. Solid start to the month. But yeah, you want to see how that's done? It's like this, being bored sometimes, not seeing anything. We're just sitting back. We're in different stages of the journey, but still a great time to study up. I already got the link in the chat, but check out this book, highly recommended. And got a couple other books on volume that I've read that have been very helpful. But Jared Volume, so right here. So this one's not as much volume, but volume and price action and time frames, technical analysis, they go hand in hand. So let me go back to Amazon. I'll get all the links to these actually and put them in chat. Technical. Oops, not even typing anything. I hate when that happens. Okay, so here's this one. Yeah, this one was very useful, and then this one was actually a really good one too. You probably have seen this around a complete guide to volume price analysis. I'll get this link in chat as well. Just give me one moment here. So these 3 books are really only the books I've read going over technicals. Well, actually, I read the Candlestick Pattern book by Steve Newton. That one's a really good one as well. But yeah, I'll just get that in chat as well. Might as well. Might as well. Copy. Here's that one. Let me just get one more for you guys.
How's it going, Patty?
Good. Not too bad. Boring day here.
I know. You got people on?
Yeah. 21. Enable you, I think. Alright, so these 4 books have definitely helped in my journey to understanding these charts, how they move, what to look for, and understanding momentum. So check those links out. They're not that expensive. A couple of them could get a little pricey, but I think this one was like $20 or something used or something like that. So check it out. Definitely useful. Besides that, I don't see much going on. Sorry, let me move up.
I'm making a mess over here.
Yeah, you charge this.
Oh, did you bring this for me?
No.
Just kidding, just kidding.
I'm not even done.
I know you're not done with it.
Alright, so did you get my trade on BWV? You went over it?
No. I wasn't live when you texted me that.
Oh yeah, we weren't live. And then we had this.
So
It was right
when,
after.
when did you see? I mean, it's pretty.
So I know it's not the usual way we trade the multi-day bounce, but I was just seeing key levels start holding, and compare that to the past couple days where it was red. If you go back, Jared, where it can't hold its gains, it's fading. Those key levels are not holding; they're holding as resistance, really. And
They said that the dip couldn't.
yeah, the open
spike
couldn't
didn't-
hold. Breaking
Here it tried to
previous.
come back, but it VWAP failed. It couldn't hold above VWAP. So like
Yeah.
this morning,
I'm
it
recognizing.
came back, but then it was actually holding VWAP. Lower volume was holding that morning high of day, not to a T, but
Not
it
just
was
that.
basically.
It was also holding the previous close of 369, holding open price of 374, and as well as holding VWAP now cratering right around it. So combining that and seeing how it held 350, which was on the daily chart, kind of a decent double bottom that it had going on. Failure breakdown at a key whole dollar, half dollar level. And you could, and you kind of see the tightening with today, how the first low on that first red day, the difference between the first and second day, it was much tighter today than it was the previous day. So it's already showing a slight momentum shift and coiling back in momentum. So you just look for the tightening of the lows, and we got that today. So when it started coming back and holding these key levels, I decided to take some starters in the low 380s, high 370s, in that little area right there, and then decided to throw on a couple 100 shares onto that as it was coming up to high a day, and from there just set my limit order at 430 because my average was 388. So had had 800 shares in it, averaged 388. Got out for 42-cent gain, 10% snipe right out of the watch list. So, and I was also being very cautious, taking the quick snipe and not trying to stick around for this because it didn't really spike as much as I typically like for the multi-day bounce. I really like to see there be 150% spike or more on the front side before shorts take over and then get the backside. And we just didn't get that, so I was being a lot more cautious with it. And that's going to be the same deal with SIDU come Tuesday, because we're still gonna be waiting for Monday to set a red day. We're still technically green, even though on the chart it's gonna be red because this one's based off open price. It's below that, so it's still above the previous close, holding green up about 67%. So Monday we're gonna be waiting to see if this sets a red day. Shorts get control of it for sure and finish that day red, and from there we're just gonna look for shorts to start covering their position when it starts shifting in momentum, and that's all the pattern is. Where that squeeze is supposed to be shorts covering to lock in their profits, and maybe some dip buyers like us joining in. And once that fuel is gone, once you get that volume exhaustion, there really isn't anything holding it up. So you usually should get just that move. A great example, I know I mentioned it earlier, CYN. You got the move of roughly 40% here on this spike, 40 or 50%. And once that fuel was gone, you get this quick little pop late day with no volume really compared to the morning. Just not enough buyers, participants really holding it up. You get the failure. It just can't hold itself. There's not enough momentum and volume. So this is something we really look for. Something going, from around 1 to the low 6s. That's a perfect candidate for this pattern. SIDU, if there's nothing going on, I'll give it a shot just because. If there's, things are slowing down, not as many opportunities, I'll give it a quick look on Tuesday for sure to see what it does. But for now, just want to go over it, the psychology on it, how we approach it. So yeah, saved my ass today from having a red day and finishing the week red. Ended up, getting that little push to stay above $1,000 on the week, up about 1,300. I am 5 for 9, 55%. So not too bad of a way to start the month. Things are looking a little chaotic with the market overall, so we're gonna have to keep continuing what we're doing. Small size, quick snipes, not sticking around trying to find the home run play. That's really all you can do, and just let the gains add up. That's what I've been doing for the past few months now, and it's really brought me some consistency, and that's the name of the game.
Game changer.
Yeah.
Gotta be very meticulous.
Yeah. So
it's this kind of market to where, usually someone who can come into a bull market when there's a hot sector or something and make a bunch of money, and then they come into a market like this and give all their gains back.
Yeah, the failure to adapt. It happened to me late last year. I had a great 2020, end of 2020, early 2021, and then pretty much the second half of last year it was just giving up gains, pretty much, failing to adapt, and had to put a stop to it. Started this year out strong, had to adapt, size down, take the quick snipes, not stick around for too long, see if we get that 40-50% plus mover. Take a quick 10-15% and move on. That's literally all you need. Day in and day out, it'll add up.
SNLA, just no volume.
Yeah, I went over that with the red candle breakout, the psychology with that, with all those sellers there and bag holders. Yeah, there just weren't, the moves weren't there as much. We weren't getting as many plays. So I was throwing in bigger size at a bunch of plays still, and it just wasn't working. So it was really less is more, cutting it back with the amount of trades I was doing, cutting it back with the size, and also taking the quick profit and not sticking around waiting for the 30, 40, 50% or more gains. So that was how I adapted, because I was, gave up a lot of profits, and I just had enough of it. I was losing my mind. I was taking money out, paying off debts and stuff, so really had to stop that, because that was the issue. Really, the size, the market environment was changed compared to what I had in my mind, because I was still in like, oh yeah, market's still going crazy. We're having all these crazy plays, and that really wasn't the reality. Things have calmed down a bit, and I just failed to adapt to that quick enough. And at least I did, and I didn't take myself out of the game. But it did hurt my trading journey for sure. For sure.
Was definitely unwell during that period of time. But then, when after quarantine, I was like, like I didn't feel like I really dealt with it at all. And then all the bullshit that happened with Russian River, and I was like, oh my god,
Anything else on the scanners?
and then moving out, like it was just a
No,
lot of
no,
time
no, no, nothing.
in like the short amount of
Yeah.
Yeah, that's literally how
Similar date on yesterday is how we're finishing it. Boring with nothing to trade. Grateful I was there to take my opportunity when I saw it.
I'm glad this gave an opportunity.
In the morning, yeah, I had that quick pop. I tweeted about that plan, looking for that open price reclaim, failure to break down, and
And as soon as that trend broke, I mean, play was.
not as much the trend as much as the volume. Because when I was getting in, the volume was still,
Well, I
the
mean,
trend was still intact,
It's
but the
both.
volume was gone.
It's both. I mean, the volume is the key thing, but when you add the trend as well, how once that really cracked and VWAP cracked, volume was also fading at the same time. It was just a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Because you got a little pop there through pre-market highs and high day, but then you can see the selling pressure start coming in, volume starts to fade, lower highs, and right here it really just
Yeah.
looks like it wants to take a dive.
Yeah, I should have been taking it for a quick scratch. I think it's way off the highs for a Friday rally, especially with 30 minutes left. We got pretty much a day. Because the volume isn't there, the trend isn't there. It just doesn't have things lined up for it.
There's only 30, and there's only 30 minutes left.
Yeah. And that doesn't mean go ahead and short it. That just doesn't mean I don't think it's going to give us that Friday short squeeze that we could see.
Would look for it. There's
Yeah.
no real key levels.
Yeah, it still has to go 20% just to get to VWAP and hold that level. And then it still has to go another 10% past that to hold and reclaim open price. And then it still has to go another 10% past that just to reclaim the high day. So there's a lot of levels up ahead and not enough volume and trend to really make me excited or think that play would be coming around. Volume is the key, and it's not there. Volume and price action go hand in hand, and this just doesn't have any of it. It's just in a lull right now. So ideally, come Monday, we get a solid red day on this, and then Tuesday we'll start looking for a bounce play, the multi-day bounce on this one. And that's just looking for shorts to lock in their profits. When momentum starts shifting, starts bottoming out, and fails to continue lower, and you get a solid little bounce.
And yeah, so I was like, and it happened, literally,
Um,
right when something happened, I can always be right there. I'm not
That's
far. But yeah, so she,
Yeah, it's
for
a
now.
slow, boring day.
Yeah, so if you guys got any questions, any takers, please throw them out.
what about when you have kids?
FRG.
Choppy, so I know. This one was from the watch list earlier in the week. Looking for a test of 35, which ended up happening just a day after that I thought. I thought we'd get a previous high day break over this 28 area and it moved to 35, but I got stuffed at 30. But the next day it came back and pushed. But it was slow and choppy, nothing spectacular.
No, nothing. But I mean,
Yeah, and also out of our price range a bit too.
yeah.
The only thing really that
Plus
I
it's
like
not
is
stock
the
exchange.
the history of spiking, because I'm pretty sure it's a huge market cap for what we trade. It's at least
Yeah.
$1 billion, I think, as well as New York Stock Exchange. So really, all this thing got for me is the history of movement, because people are gonna remember that when they see this on the radar, and we just need eyes on it. You get conflicting emotions into it and opinions on what it should do. If it fails to break down, we should get a short squeeze. But nothing right now on this. This is a just ignore.
You just know your way around the house now. But yeah,
That's nothing. No volume garbage.
I already was. She's and she's like really. She's no. She's like a pretty petty person, and I was a very like direct person. Like something bothering me, I would not say it.
Whoa. Hello. Good morning.
He's like, I know I'm not in the wrong. Yeah, I did. There you go. Fucking snake. Yeah, dude. I was like, if you really want to get someone done, keep it. Yeah, truly. I thought you thought it was a toy.
Yeah, if I don't really see anything here popping up in the next 5-10 minutes, probably call it a week. View is dropping. Let's check that out. What's the chart there? Yeah, already downtrending. Breaking the new lows here. 850.
Ever brings a snake into the house, I'm moving out.
How'd you trade that? Were you in there early in the morning? Into that pop at 9? Cause yeah, that thing's dying right now. Solid 5%. Fade from 880. Past what? 15 minutes or so? Or more?
I was staying here like 3 nights a week, and then
Never mind. More is like
me
30.
and Max never really even like talked about it. I just kind of was like, I don't want to go home. He's like, why? I'm like, it's just like really hard living with your parents while you're like in a very committed relationship. Like you want to be with that person constantly, and like you live in.
There's this idea with the failure again.
So far from the person that you want to spend
You know, it's in this range in the low 3s, high 2s. Just trading between that. And that's a complete ignore.
It's hard. And then
You know, when you're looking for that one Friday squeeze, you know, you'd really like it to be consolidating, maybe closer to the highs. Shorts are definitely in it, using that high as a resistance area to keep pounding into it, using it as a risk. And, you know, if it keeps uptrending into that break, you know, that's when you get some solid action. But something like SIDU that's completely off its highs, just downtrending in the lull near the lows, at day lows, that's an ignore. Just no momentum.
here, but I'm not like super comfortable here because none of my stuff is here. And he's like, leave whatever you want, I don't care. Like, and at that point, I was like, use it. Put this here. That drawer is now my underwear. Literally. And then like August, because we had gone on a trip. We went camping in June. That was like our official, like when we became official. And then July, I was staying here like 5 nights a week. And then August, I was like, I'm not leaving. And then like 2 months ago, we moved all the furniture in.
Nice.
No.
Yeah, we're all downtrend there.
Yeah. I didn't always want to be here though because there's
Yeah. Each low just, or each high getting lower.
Mitchell and Sam, and like sometimes TJ, and it's like, it's very rare that everyone is here.
I guess the doji, or what is that yesterday? Can't really tell. Trying to show confirmation, trying to show some bottoming, but not enough. No volume. Momentum just heads lower. Opens red.
And then it would be
Huge
Mitchell,
drop.
Sam, TJ, Fatty, Annalise, and there was like 12 people here at a time sometimes, and I was like, oh my gosh, how many people in the room? And that's when I was going through like severe, like, in my eyes, severe depression stuff. And I told Max, I was like, there needs to be one night a week where like nobody comes over. And he was like, okay. So there's usually like one night a week where nobody's here, and I'm like,
Yeah, I think we're gonna wrap this up here soon. There's just nothing. Everything sucks. I'll make a video. I already got one out on YouTube going over my trades and just the momentum this morning. and I'll make more. Yeah, definitely. I think it's heading lower. Um, 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 what was I gonna say? So yeah, check us out on Twitter. I'll be putting the watch list on Sunday out there for Monday. Just getting prepared. I'll put some video lessons out this weekend on YouTube, and I'll also post them on Twitter as well. So subscribe. We got the links here in our bio on Tradecaster. So check us out there. Just trying to put as much useful information out there for you guys. Check out the links in chat with all the books, going over volume and price action, just some technicals.
Which really helped too.
Yeah, no, these
They're
books are good.
very informative.
Yeah. I don't know about the short because we're not looking at shorts here, just looking at long bias trades really. But we got, let's see, let's just dissect this. Bigger market cap, bigger float, into resistance here at 15. Some solid volume on the day, solid perk.
I'd just wait for a backside. I'd wait for, a VWAP crack. I'd wait
Yeah.
for a crack under the low 14s here.
Yeah, you got fading volume. You got a crack already, a little bit on some selling. You're getting a little bit weaker volume into this perk here. So I think if, you get another lower high here and it starts gaining some selling, it might become a solid short. But, we got 20 minutes left. And,
It's still holding up near the highs.
yeah, it's still kind of between this range, uptrending overall.
I'd really just wait for that momentum to shift and for it to clearly be on the backside.
And then once you get the bounce,
Short the
That
bounce.
cap
I mean, you
bounce,
can probably take a starter when it's cracking VWAP and cracking this low here of the low 14s. Once you get that bounce and it confirms that,
and it starts using that area as resistance and it can't break higher.
then you can probably get your ad in there and then look for a fade back down to 13 and 12s. But there is only, 22 minutes left, so I don't, for one, we don't short in the first place. We only go long for now.
Yeah.
And two, we haven't tracked any short setups, so we don't want to give any advice on something that we don't know for sure.
Yeah, but just based off reading momentum and the volume and whatnot, I can just tell you, we kind of got this, pennant, wedge, whatever you want to call it, happening. If you want to draw it up.
A little bit. I see.
So, it's going to be making a decision soon, I think, of what it should be doing. Getting to a breaking point. So, we'll have to see how the volume is. If you get a lot of heavy selling, breaking down, that's definitely going to make someone more short biased looking at this chart. You got the volume exhaustion and the run up this morning or midday to the 15 area resistance.
And it's holding 50%
And now
of its gains.
it's holding definitely, but it's also making lower highs. Some solid selling came in, couldn't get back above 15, continuing that downtrend as we see touching that line. And it is breaking above it now, so who knows, but volume would have to be a little bit stronger. Like as a long bias trader looking at the trade, I do like how a little bit of volume is coming back, but I think, I would want to see a little bit more. Definitely. But yeah, I'd be approaching shorting. I would approach shorting the same way as I do longing. I'd be waiting for the confirmation and adding into that. So, right now I don't short this, but how I typically would be trading something like this, buying some on this trend reversal, holding VWAP and whatnot, and then if we get the volume to come in and start breaking to new highs and whatnot, I'll start adding into that. So you can always go in with a starter, keep it with tight risk, and if you start getting the action that you want, start adding into that. That's how I keep my losses small and my gains bigger. SIDU today, I took a small loss, $36 this morning, and it was all in the starter, 400 shares for 419 to 410, And then when I got BWV, I had my starters that I added some more when I saw those in my favor and working out. And that's why there's usually a big gap between my gains and my losses, because my losses typically are on my starter, and my gains I'm usually adding into those. And SIDU, not too bad of a little ad there. A little entry at 306. You're getting your quick 3% or so here if you're looking for a scalp.
I was so mad, and then she just bring people over all the time, and then
She seems like kind of narcissistic.
oh no, 1,000%. And so she would be like, we have to talk to you now. And this is how I talk,
Yeah, I'm not gonna change the way I am
Yeah.
for you because you have ruined
Yeah,
how I am
yeah, I know.
for you.
Yeah, and like, she has like raised her voice and like another thing, so I'm like, can you start yelling at me? And I
Nice,
tell her
nice.
don't yell at me, that I would play only like one time.
Nice.
Nice.
And then
We'll just scalp some of that. It's not the way we trade, but that's cool. You're able to get that quick little bounce from that. At the bottom end of the range, failed to break down. You got that heavy selling that couldn't break it lower.
You got a
Holds around
$3
three.
whole number.
Yeah, so it was just like, and she started like calling me Monica from Friends because she said I was like anal. I'm not anal at all. I just don't want you to bring people over constantly.
And don't look at my stuff.
Yeah, and
Go for your own stuff.
and like leaving shit around, like she'd always leave mine, and then they'd be like, don't do that, and I would just like literally.
Hell yeah, nice.
Yeah.
It's a decent little scalp.
Yeah, not bad at all. Congratulations.
And I'll literally tell them like, hey, like, are you gonna get this out of like whatever? Do
That's
not-
neat. That's neat. What's that
I
doing?
used to, cause I'm not anal, but like I definitely have some OCD tendencies and I'll stuff in.
What's it called?
My world kind of spins out of control when things aren't
Really
controlled.
discharge.
And
Well, way to.
I see it also
I
like
just wanted.
I don't like
Just give me a ticker. I just wanted to look at it.
control.
Looking back at RADI, thinking of that, that got on my mind. You know, now we're getting a week perk to 15, maybe this double tops here. We'll see what happens there.
Options
I
day
see,
trigger,
yeah. That's cool. Yeah, I hear, some people making some good money with that. I haven't looked into that yet. Honestly,
Yeah, me
very,
either.
very unfamiliar with that realm of trading. But definitely open to looking into that at some point in the future. But right now, sticking to what's working. But congrats on your profit. That's cool. Way to end the week. That's cool.
Yeah, for sure. So many different ways to make money in the market. You just gotta find your own little edge, you know?
She's not like, I always supplied hella dirty, there was never stashes ready, forks were always dirty, like everything was always like going rancid in the sink. And so I sent a text message one time to a group chat and I was like, hey, like, I know like I got my own issues about like things being clean, but like if you leave dishes for more than 24 hours, it's safe to give them to bed.
Yeah.
Because right now
What
you're
is this?
What? Oh, real estate stuff.
Oh,
Sorry.
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
I had to send the email.
And it happened a couple times, and I was like, fuck them,
Yeah.
they knew. And I even let it slide like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
I was like,
Well, the thing she would always say no, but never throw her trash away. And she would just leave like her bags of like everywhere.
I don't understand trash.
Most
sorry. Go for it.
we're trying to start streaming in the afternoon a lot more often, but it's 100% every morning for the first hour, hour and a half,
Yeah.
and then
We start 10 minutes before the market opens, going over some of our top plays, what we're looking for, and we go until the first hour, pretty much, and then we come back around the last hour and a half. If it really isn't much, maybe the last hour. But we usually tweet when we're gonna be going live. So if you want to check us out, just follow us on Twitter. I don't know if there is an alert thing here on Tradecaster. But yeah, thanks for joining our stream today.
even though it's pretty
Boring
boring.
day. We don't have much to provide you with besides some trades from earlier.
A storage unit that's not even being in use, like in front of our parking.
Hell yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and I know you're more into options, but I don't know if patterns and stuff apply. We got a bunch of lessons and stuff on our YouTube. Feel free to check us out. But yeah,
We lived in.
glad to have you here.
want a nice hot sector.
Yeah, and so then she was like running on a trip, and I was like, she's like, I'm going to take care of this stuff right before I go, blah, 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 that's it. And I was like, do I just put it in there? And I'm like, no, you can't do it. I originally wanted to touch it, so I was like, okay, I'm not touching it. She comes back and I
Here's this thing still holding trend.
are you going to take care of that? And she was
Like we were talking about earlier, just wait for the trend reversal.
Trying to get back up to 15.
Yeah, no, this thing's definitely making higher lows, trying to inch its way closer.
That's why I would wait for the short side
Yeah.
because it's still.
when I was like,
Like, nobody's too busy to like plan a pocket.
no,
So
yeah,
you're trying to make the best of 10
yeah, and she has strings all day.
Nice.
And I was
Glad to hear that.
Nice
yeah.
Wilson, nice little snipe there. And then
Some real
yeah,
secret,
you gotta
yeah.
you want to try to learn from as many people as possible. You know, you can pick up little tricks here and there that you can use in your own trading to make you better.
like on the app that we use or the portal that we use to like pay rent, that I can see that for
Yeah, continuing its little bounce between the range. It's a range bound stock right now. 330s.
You're all good.
290s.
Your grammar's probably better than ours.
I know you're.
never
No worry about that. Don't worry.
especially if I'm like not going to school or something, you know, like not like you have a full time job. You need to pay your yeah, and something and then she's like where's your
Oh, it's your phone.
I know, we make the same amount.
I guess go back to the other one. I just wanted to see what this got to.
Which one?
Rad or Raddy? R-A-D-I right there. Or,
Yeah, she still lives there. No,
Oh man,
and then our
work in a couple hours.
her friend moved in there, and she was like, yeah, when your lease is up, then I'm gonna move in there. And so I was like, well, I literally should like send me pictures of like my old room, I'm like, but I don't listen.
Yeah. What apartment complex was it in Denver?
It's called the Renaissance, but it doesn't have, oh, I guess it does have a sign in front of it, but, yeah, no,
There's
there's
a really nice it's like right
no, I don't think they'll buy that.
No, I don't
They wouldn't buy that.
they
one.
wouldn't buy it.
that one. Yeah, we have bigger accounts. We have bigger accounts.
We
That
could
would
really
definitely
really
be like,
mess with them, yeah.
we gotta go rent somewhere else. We gotta get somewhere else.
Babe, we gotta sell the car.
Yeah.
we gotta.
You gotta get a bus pass. I can't do this. Yeah, to the close, usually Fridays, yeah. You get
'Cause it's
solid
just-
squeezes, but that
And plus,
one,
well, shorts don't like to hold their positions over the weekend. You know, they'll sell their position on a Friday. It's just typical kind of short squeeze Friday has always kind of been the thing. But right now, I don't think we're gonna have any kind of squeeze action going.
I think it was City. He was a mistake.
Yeah, well, this ran in the morning. Had a little push in the morning.
I knew she was actually like sticking my back, but what I didn't know was that like one of the reasons why
This is trying to come back.
What?
she was at
What's the flow?
This doesn't have the volume though.
Do you?
her best friend's name is Camber, and so they're at Amber's.
Over the weekend, yeah, we've held positions over the weekend. Recently, like not in this market environment. Geez, what was the last one? I don't even remember. It's been a little bit. But yeah, we typically just stay away from the overnight stuff. Just take our quick gains intraday. is what we really stick to.
Now, if the market's hot and things are running and we have a hot
Yes,
sector or something,
that's a
then
different
yes,
story.
it's a different story. But right now, it wouldn't make sense to try to swing things when this is a take your snipe market, or else you're gonna get crushed. You can win all week, hold a stock overnight or over the weekend, wake up Monday and give back all your week's gains.
Yeah, and then I found out that our coworker Miguel, who lives in Colorado, he comes over and then like all this having like outdoor game stuff and we like came out or whatever. And I didn't really hear them too much, but I like heard him like the way he was talking, like it didn't really seem like he was wanting to like that. And then he told one of our friends who went after it happened that he was like, you know, she like really like kept pressuring and like when she was telling me, she's like, yeah, he kissed me and then he didn't want to kiss me, like blah blah blah. It's like, and then it's like, yeah, yeah, and
What
then,
worse that?
yeah, exactly. Like, okay, well, and then she's like, he's like, no, like don't kiss me, blah blah blah, kept crying and
Yeah, what time is it? 8 minutes. Yeah, we're done. There's nothing. Nothing.
All right, shall we close it up?
I think so. I think we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up a little early.
Yeah.
Only 8 minutes early, and it's dead. This is a time where to take to go study,
Happens.
review your
Sorry,
trades.
adapt to that. Sorry to cut you off. I was just kind of answering the question.
Uh,
Or not really a question, comment. Yeah, so it's happened to us before, so we just kind of stay away.
and that's why we just try to cut our losses quick. You know, even because you could always, depending on your account size, if you have a small account of like 5K and you're trying to go all in on a trade or something like that.
Don't go all in.
But you know what I mean. Like you don't have that much capital to work with. But if you have a bigger account, if you have like 10, 15, 20K, you can, if you buy and you're wrong, sell it really quick, cut your small loss. You can always rebuy if it ends up working out the way you'd want. But I'd rather, you know, and a lot of times like I would have to sit through is just taking a loss, not having any more capital to trade with, and then watching the stock later on do exactly what I had wanted. And it's a terrible feeling, but it's just something you have to kind of go through and learn from, kind of take you to that next step. So just make sure to review, take the time this weekend to really review, you know, check out some of those books that Fatty posted. You know, maybe listen to some trading podcasts or something. You know, whatever can help you get better. Try to dedicate a little time to it, and then the rest of your time, you know, just hang out with family, friends, relax, just take a nice break from everything, and we'll come back Monday, ready to rock and roll. So yeah, we're gonna close it down. You know, we'll get some content out there today and this weekend, and we'll see you guys Monday, ready for a whole new week. Do it all over again. Hopefully, we'll get some more action. But thanks everybody for coming. We appreciate all of you, and we'll see you guys Monday. Have a great weekend.